Alright, y'all, so we got a quick little obstacle course here. It could be a little bit threatening though, so when we're first tackling it, so it could take a little while, but here to walk you through it. First step is that we want to get this ornament rotating with this crane. So if you left click drag on this timeline, you can see that that's going to be rotating with it. You'll also notice that its pivot point is really garbage. It's in a bad spot for us. We would prefer to snap that pivot point to this to this little vertex under the loop, and then snap that to the crane hook as well. So in order to do that, I'm going to press insert, or you could hold D, and then I'm going to hold V. So V enables snapping up here. You can see that as I'm pressing it. It enables snapping, and it's going to snap to any vertex on here. So we're going to snap that to that vert, and then we're going to press insert again to toggle out of the move pivot mode. And then I'm going to hold V again because I want to snap this new pivot point that we've put in here that moves the entire model around. If I press W, I can hold V and just snap it straight to that hook. Boom. There you go. Very nice. All right, next one. Next step now is to, if you drag on the timeline, see how it's not moving with that. We need to parent that object to the crane. We need to have the crane be driving this. If we go to our Windows outliner, you can see that the crane has this sort of hierarchy in it, and that these objects are rotating. What we need is the ornament to be a child of this crane 3, and that'll set us up nicely here. So if I click that ornament and shift click the crane and press P, it's going to parent it to that. Boom, there you go. Very nice. And that concludes that that homework portion right there. I'm going to duplicate this little mesh right there, and then I want a bit more geometry on this, so I'm just going to press smooth on this a few times. It's this little button right here. You can also find that in the edit mesh, or in the mesh tab right here. And then what we're going to do is go into vertex mode, and I'm going to press B to enter soft select mode. And I can just pull on this any which way and get the desired effect. You can rotate these, you can do some cool stuff, whatever you want really, class, whatever you want. But yeah, so just get used to soft select. Next is that we have a topology problem. You're going to run into this a lot when you're encountering things like necks or something, where you're coming from a face which has like a lot of geo and then running into a shape like this, and you need to really reduce the amount of edge loops on it. So a fast way to do this, if you had to bridge from here across, a fast way to do this is take these two middle loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, just these two middle ones, pull them in, Control E to extrude, and I'm just going to press W to go back into my move tool. I'm going to open up the modeling toolkit, and we're going to go to target weld and just left click drag from one of these edges to the other. Right there, boom. Now select these edges and bridge. There you go. Alright, and then select these edges and bridge as well. You can see the final problem. Notice how, and we're going to solve this exact same way. We just select that middle edge, Control E, and then W, move tool, and then target weld to the sides again. Boom, simple right there. But you'll notice that we went from 3 spans to 1 span right there, and then we went from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 2. So just note that with this method, you can only reduce by 2 edges there. So if you're counting your edge loops, that's going to be a nice little rule of thumb there. So next, we're going to make a guitar out of this, and I'm going to immediately multi-cut. I'm going to Control middle click right there, boom, and that's going to establish a line of symmetry that we can use. And I'm just going to scale this kind of far, wide. I'm just going to try to get those general proportions of it. If you were doing like a model for a client, I would be more careful, right? But for this, I'm just going to kind of go quickly speed through so I don't waste a bunch of time for y'all. And then you start just multi-cutting. I just did a couple multi-cuts there, and I'm trying to just define that shape. Oh, actually, I should have had symmetry enabled, but I messed up, so I can just fix that real quick. If I click mirror That's going to give us our mirror geometry tool. We want to mirror left and right, so that's going to be axis Z, and then axis position object. And then we're going to go, oh, whoops, sorry, my bad. It's not going to be Z. Z is forward and away from the camera, or away from world origin right here. I meant to say X. We're looking for object X right there. Very nice. And you can see that that mirrored properly. Delicious. And let's turn on symmetry X. And let's start getting these into position. So I'm just drag selecting through to get all those verts. And we're just kind of making that shape, that general shape for it. I'm going to add a subdivision here so we can get a nice, more gradual sort of curve to this object. Same here. And there we go. So we have the body sort of figured out. If I wanted to press B and go into my soft select, I could kind of nicely pull in on these and affect all the verts, you know. But yeah, next up we need to make the hole, and I'm going to do this by kind of just dragging these into the general position, and I'm going to click these faces, and I'm going to use a cool tool called circularize. It's in edit mesh, circularize. Boom, look at that, makes a nice beautiful circle for us. So I'm going to control E to scale, to extrude, and then I'm going to scale with R. Actually, if I scale with symmetry on, it's going to do that. So instead, I undid my circularize. So circularize, control E, and then let's do offset. Boom, inward. And let's control E, and then just push down, and then you can delete those faces. Boom, body of the guitar done. Just right there. Let's smooth this out. Very nice. Okay. Next step is we want to start making the separate pieces. So if we scale this cube down, we can put it into its spot. And then I'm just going to take the verts of it and just pull it out as long as I need. And there we go. Next up, I'm going to select the face. I'm going to control E. I'm going to drag it this way. And that's going to give us a little, like a small sliver of geo right there. And we can use that to make the little, the part where the strings insert up there. I'm going to control E again, pull this out, and then I'm going to bend it this way. Next up, I'm going to multi-cut, boom, bang, pow, right there. And then let's select these edges and scale these out a little bit. And then I'm going to multi-cut some more. And I'm just pressing R right there. Boom. There we go. So now we have that shape figured out. Next is going to be the tuning pegs. Those are going to be difficult. So let's move over here. And we basically want a cylinder extruding out of a square. So in order to set that shape up, like we need to extrude that shape, right? So that shape has to exist on this face. In order to do that, I'm going to go for extruding. Actually, let's turn off symmetry. Don't want symmetry for this one. Let's extrude here, control E. And then I'm going to press R. I'm going to start scaling down. And then I'm going to use that super nifty circularize again. Like, why not, you know? And then see how that makes a nice circle? So if I extrude that, it's going to extrude that circle shape out and give us a nice cylinder there. Next step, I'm going to extrude these bad boys out as well. And then I'm going to press R and scale down right there. And tuning peg done. Boom. Now it's gigantic, so let's just go into object mode. Scale that down. And then I'm going to use snapping to just bring it to this vert. And that's holding V and dragging on with the left click. And let's just move this in there. Perfect. Perfection. There we go. And there we go. And then we're just going to shift click all of these in object mode, press D to duplicate, and then I'm going to go into rotate. I'm going to hold J to snap rotation. and just drag, and that's gonna, snap rotation is going to basically snap along, I believe, 15-degree increments. So you can just do that, and then it'll eventually work out there. Next, I'm going to extrude that little part where the strings will insert. And then next step is, let's just create a cylinder for this last shape. I'm going to hold J to rotate it and snap it at 90 degrees there. And then I'm going to drag this over. I'm going to scale it real tiny. Don't have it scale all the way through and go inverse on us, but scale it to be real tiny. And then I'm going to scale it to reach out all the way across. I'm going to bring it into the guitar neck right there, and then scale it back a little bit. And perfect. Next up, I need to make 6 of them, so I'm going to Control D, and then if you want to be quick, you can just press Shift D once you move it over enough to get 6 of those. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I feel like my spacing's a little bit off, so I can click each of these objects and kind of refine where they end up. And there we go. Boom. Last step is we want to get a nice little insertion for them on the body of the guitar. So I'm just going to take a cube, I'm going to scale it down, I'm going to multi-cut, and I'm going to do a Control middle click to get an axis of symmetry right there, and I'm going to turn on Object X symmetry. And what we can do is scale down and apart. You can just scale a bunch right there, and then I'm just going to add some, whoops, let's undo that connect, don't want to use that tool. I'm just going to do some multi-cuts right here. So 1, 2, 3, and let's just go start messing with those components that we made, those new faces and edges. There we go. And we're set. Very nice. Alright, now for the hand. This one's a bit of a struggle, but we can get it. We can get it working. So first I'm just going to scale that shape into the general shape of the palm. We're going for the palm here. And I'm going to turn off symmetry. Don't need that. And let's move this there. Let's get this generally a little bit skinnier. There you go. Perfect. First step, oops, close my tools. First step, multi-cut across there. And our workflow is going to be extruding these fingers out, right? But then we need to establish the webbing between them first. And since I want a round shape on those fingers, I want to use at least 8 sort of divisions on there. You can see if I look at the tip of the finger, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I want 8 on the outside of that. So whatever shape I want to extrude out of here, it has to have 8 edges before I extrude it. Like if I do it right now, it's only going to have 1, 2, 3. So yeah, let's set that up. So first step, I need to multi-cut across there. Next step, multi-cut across this one. And let's get one along the middle of this as well. So now I'm going to go into edge mode and sort of refine the outside shape of this. Perfect. Delicious. Let's do the same here. Perfect. Beautiful. All right, next step, we need to define the webbing of this, right? And it's going to be a little bit strange, but we're going to basically, if you look at these edges, they kind of come in from this outside and then span across there. So that's what our webbing is going to do, exactly that. So I want to click these 2 middle edges that are going to exist between the fingers, and then I want to bridge across that. Now, we don't have enough geo here to make the entire finger, right? We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 spans right there. What I need is 3 more. So 1, 2, 3. Boom. Perfect. Next, I'm going to scale inward. Scale inward. This is like this is the actual web of those fingers, right? So and then I'm going to scale this one inward as well and move it down. I'm going to scale this one in too, and then move that up. And you'll see from the front we have that sort of finger silhouette. Next, go into edge mode, double click this edge, Control E, we're going to extrude out. Next, we want to fill up the top of this cap of the finger. So our step is to go to Mesh, Fill Hole, boom, and then let's fix the geometry there. We want to have nice clean topology, making clean edge loops across all of this. So let's go across there, boom, perfect. I'm going to fix this vert, and I want to just snap it to be level with this one, so I'm going to hold V, and on the up and down axis I can just drag it there. So I'm going to do that for both of these. And then next let's get some subdivisions for the digits. So that's the first digit, this will be the second digit. And then let's start refining this shape and just kind of making a nice finger silhouette. Boom, bang, right there. And let's just get this to be more round as well, so it actually reads as a finger. Next, let's make this a little bit less chonky. You don't want that to be too chonk. And then next, I want a little bit more definition in here, so let's get a multi-cut in there, and I just held Control to insert that edge loop. And then I'm going to scale this inward with R. Boom, perfect. And next I want to shift click both these faces and let's make some fingernails. So I'm gonna extrude, and then I'm gonna press R to scale, and I'm gonna rotate it with a little bit of E right there. So I pressed E and rotated it. Now I'm gonna do Control E and extrude up a little bit and rotate that again. And there we go. Fingernail. Boom, right there. Right there. Nice fingernail for us. So next step, I want to add some subdivisions here. Anytime if you're going to animate a model, you have to have subdivisions along the joints, right? So that's going to be big. That's a big principle for when we're modeling this stuff for these characters later. And then I'm going to add another one up here for this joint. Let's add a little bit of. Let's add an edge group here for refining that shape, and let's do it right here as well. Why not? Why not? Nothing's stopping us, y'all. Now this finger, it could use a little bit. It's like a little bit chunky here towards the front, so let's scale. And I'm using soft select, and so I'm increasing that fall off, and I'm going to scale with R. I'm just going to pull that in. You know, we can refine that whole shape like that nicely. There we go. Beautiful. And you can go and refine that shape more, but I want to move on with this tutorial. So I'm going to delete these other faces. Let's press B to get out of soft select mode. And then let's set up the rest of our webbing to receive the other fingers. So I'm going to go into edge mode right here. This is the webbing between the middle and the ring finger, and I'm just going to bridge across. Then I'm going to multi-cut. Let's just multi-cut in the general ballpark of where those other multi-cuts are on this side right here. So I'm going to scale this inward, double-click, scale this inward, double-click, scale this inward. There we go. And let's set up this webbing. I'm gonna bridge across here, and then I'm gonna multi-cut, and then it's gonna be a bunch of scaling again. So I'm gonna double-click this. I'm gonna scale this inward, double-click, scale inward, double-click, scale inward. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, and then vertex mode. I'm just gonna pull this back to make that webbing a little bit more convincing. Right there. Same for this one. And then this one as well. And let's get these ones back as well. Boom. Nice. Alright, now we need to duplicate this hand, this finger a few times and then attach it. I'll show you the proper way of doing it. First, you need to select all the faces of the finger. I'm going to shift, or I'm just going to left click drag over here, and then I'm going to shift click this face. And I'm going to shift double click the face above it to just add that whole loop to that selection. Boom. Fast way of selecting that. And then I'm going to go to edit mesh, extract, boom. That's going to make this finger a separate object. You see that? So I'm going to leave it there, and then I'm going to Control D to duplicate. And I'm going to scale this out. And I'm going to Control D, move it over, scale this in, Control D, and I'm just going to scale in. I'm going to scale in all proportions because the pinky's just so small compared to the other ones. Boom. Very nice. And I like that. I like where those have ended up. So now we need to recombine these. We need to get those attached to the actual hand. So I'm going to go to Mesh, Combine, and now it's all one object. Remember, you can do that for the guitar as well. You can see that's what I did with this one. So you can just select all that, Mesh, Combine, boom. And what we're going to do here is target weld all these bad boys. Now, something to remember. If I go into object mode and click it, you can see it's all one mesh, you know. However, if I go into face mode and double click this finger, you can see that none of these verts are connected still, right? So I need to reattach that one. That's just a detail about these different objects, right? It was all one mesh, but the components weren't attached. You need to attach them in with a target weld or a merge function in order to really have that be one coherent shape in 3D. I see that question a lot. And there we go. So that one's attached up. Now I'm just going to do the same with this finger. Same for all these bad boys. It's easier in 4 mode to see what I want to attach. So I want to attach that one. I want to attach to that one. So let's drag this bad boy to that one. Remember, that's 4 for that. And then let's fix these verts a little bit. Have them not be as stretched out and stuff. There we go. Alright, next we got to do this finger. So let's target weld. I'm going to drag to that vert right there. I'm dragging to the, whoop, wrong one. Dragging to this vert. Dragging to that vert. Dragging there, there. Again, I'm going to need to go into 4 for this one. Boom, there. This one, right there. Ooh, this vert's like buried inside the mesh. Let's move that out and fix that up before we move on. Very nice. Very nice. Starting to look like something there. And then let's press 4 again. Go into target weld to get this one linked up in the proper spot. And then move this one out. Move this one away from the hand. And there we go. That one's attached. Looking fantastic. And then finally the pinky. Let's do the pinky. So I'm going to target, well, I'm going to do the hand to the finger this time instead of the finger to that way. I want to do the hand to the finger because I like where the finger is placed. I think it's in a good spot. I don't want to mess with that too much, you know. Boom. Oops, missed that one. There we go. Perfect. Now, last step, we got to get the thumb. I'm going to add a subdivision here. I'm going to add one right here. And then I'm going to extrude the thumb out of this bad boy. So let's kind of scale this up to give it a little bit more thickness, you know. And we can move this stuff down as well. Give that a little bit more substance in there. And then let's hold right click and go into face mode. And then I'm going to Control E to extrude. I'm going to press W to go into move tool. And I'm going to scale this down and do that cool circularize again. It's one of my favorite new tools. I just want a nice circular shape, and like it takes a lot of fiddling around to get that. But you can just do this instead, and then I'm going to extrude out to make that first or that second digit. and then I'm going to extrude out again and do that last digit right there. And I'm going to move this stuff. I'm going to move this just to get that round sort of thumb. This vert kind of crumpled in on itself, so let's get this looking more clean. These ones moved up. Let's kind of even that out. Always want to be orbiting around your characters so that doesn't happen to you. And there we go. So it's not looking nice and round. Let's get a subdivision right there and round it out even more. Round it out even more. Very nice. And then next, let's make a thumbnail. So I'm going to extrude these two faces. I'm going to press R to scale inward. I'm going to rotate it down a little bit, and then I'm going to Control E again. Drag it out, and then rotate it up and out. So now we have that shape again. And let's do some more multi-cuts along these areas where it's going to get bent and deformed when we're animating it. We want to have good deformation when we get to animation, so let's do it like this. Boom, there you go. Gonna multi-cut this. And then you can really define or refine the shape of it. You can even use soft select that you learned from the earlier tool if you want to do that. And get some nifty geo going in there. And there you go, hand right there. Beautiful. Beautiful. If you want to do a last step of like, notice how hard the hand is, you might want to go to mesh display and then soften edge to get a nice soft appeal on there. Also, like my proportions are a little bit off. You feel free to work on those and get those looking nice. This hand is a little bit nicer formed than this one, but yeah, it'll look fine though. It looks fine. All right, so then you're almost done with the homework. Then the last thing is to make anything that you want. That's what this little question mark is for. Make anything that you want to make. All right, and then you're done. And that's it. All right, thanks for watching.